Divinely prophesied. 3 miraculous days until the lunar shift manifests your supernatural reality. In the heart of Renfield, with a gentle breeze carried whispers of faith, a promise lingered in the air like the sweetest incense. The clock struck evening, and Sarah, a devoted mother and cherished church volunteer, knelt in her humble living room, adorned with family pictures and shining crosses. Just moments ago, she had experienced a vision, a divine message of hope revealing that in 3 days, a lunar shift would herald miraculous changes for those who truly believed. Her heart danced with heavenly joy, but the shadows of doubt loomed nearby. As she walked to the local chapel for the candle-lit prayer service, anticipation wrestled with uncertainty. The flickering flames cast a warm glow, illuminating faces aglow with hope and skepticism alike. Sarah poured her spirit into her prayers, tears falling as she begged for guidance. Each flicker of the candles felt alive, every breath a testament to her faith. Suddenly, from amidst the congregation, the air thickened, vibrating with an exhilarating force as she heard the subtle sounds of angels' wings, like the rustling of leaves on a summer day. "Miracles are coming," Sarah proclaimed with a brave heart, her words igniting a fire that spread through the pews. Those around her gasped, some captivated, others skeptical. Pastor Mark, a wise leader, stepped forward, his brow furrowing with concern. "We must balance faith with reason, dear friends." His words hung like fog, creating a divide between trepidation and unwavering belief. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The week progressed, a blend of fervent prayers and aching hearts. Skeptics wandered in their own doubts, but for every soul questioning, another found comfort in Sarah's unwavering faith. Then, tragedy struck. Her youngest son, Oliver, fell gravely ill. Panic engulfed Sarah's heart like storm clouds rolling in. She organized a week of fervent prayers, calling upon St. Jude to intercede in their hour of need. Each evening was steeped in prayers laced with anguish and whispers of hope, creating a sanctuary of devotion bathed in candlelight. As day 3 dawned, a silent tension enveloped Renfield. Hearts raced, breath held, all waiting. Whispers filled the air, telling of inexplicable healings unfurling like flowers after a long winter. Yet, Sarah's heart was torn. Was her vision from God, or was she merely clutching at straws, desperately hopeful in the face of despair? When the night of the lunar shift finally arrived, the sky transformed into a magnificent canvas of shimmering silver and deep shadows. The moon emanated a glow so powerful that it felt like the heavens had opened. As the villagers gathered in prayer, an electric pulse thrummed through the earth, a tangible sense of divine presence enfolding Renfield. This was a moment of reckoning. Would Sarah's faith sustain the weight of miracles about to unfold? The air crackled with possibility, leaving every heart yearning for the touch of divine mercy, setting the stage for astonishing transformations that would forever alter their village. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a surreal glow over Renfield. Sarah stood among the villagers, her fingers trembling as she clutched her rosary tightly. Bated breaths mingled with whispered prayers, weaving a tapestry of faith in the cool night. The air was electric, each heartbeat synchronized with the rhythm of anxious anticipation. Pastor Mark raised his voice, steady yet tinged with urgency. "Tonight, we gather not just in hope, but in expectation. We are on the brink of something extraordinary." His words rang true, yet Sarah could feel the flicker of doubt at the edges of her spirit. Would her faith hold strong when faced with the unthinkable? As the lunar shift began, an incredible silence wrapped around them, as if time had paused. The moon transformed into a dazzling orb, shimmering with hues of gold, silver, and deep indigo. Sarah felt a warmth wash over her, a presence so powerful it brought tears to her eyes. Could this be the divine message she had prayed for? From the gathering, an elderly woman stepped forward, her frail figure illuminated by the moonlight. "I feel him among us," she cried out, her voice trembling with emotion. "I sense a healing power coursing through the air." As she spoke, Sarah caught sight of Oliver, his small frame nestled in the arms of his father at the edge of the crowd. Fear gripped her heart again. What if he didn't recover? In that moment, she recalled the days leading to this night, the fervent prayers, the uncertainty, and the faith of those around her. She was not alone, a thought that began to embolden her spirit. "We must believe," Sarah called out, her voice rising above others. "God has plans are beyond our understanding. Trust in His timing." A collective murmur rippled through the congregation. She looked around and saw nods of agreement. Maybe they, too, could embrace the unknown in their hearts. Suddenly, a soft breeze swept through, carrying the scent of blooming jasmine that seemed to blanket the air around them. Sarah closed her eyes, allowing her senses to be enveloped in that sacred moment. Was this a sign? An affirmation of the divine presence? Then, as if in answer, Oliver's eyes fluttered open, and he gasped for breath, the wheezing that had plagued him for days subsiding. The crowd drew in a unified breath, eyes widening in disbelief as more people called out, their own miraculous experiences unfurling like petals of new life. Men and women began to cry out, their voices intermingling in a beautiful symphony of praise. "I can walk. I can see," rang through the air as bodies once frail began to rise, shaking off the weight of their ailments. It was as if a wave had passed over them, and they could feel the healing touch of something celestial enveloping them. But as Sarah's heart soared with newfound joy, she sensed a deeper calling. The miraculous shift was not just about healing. It was a divine invitation to a greater understanding of faith and community. There was something more at play that would challenge the very core of their beliefs. Just as she opened her mouth to voice her thoughts, the moon dimmed, casting an ominous shadow over Renfield. A whisper shivered through the crowd. "What now?" Someone breathed, sensing a change. The night was not done with its revelations, and the path ahead shimmered uncertainly in the moonlight. Could they navigate the revelations yet to come? Would their faith withstand the trials that lay just beyond this miraculous moment? With eager hearts, they stood on the threshold of wonder and fear. What would unfold next in the dance of divine intercession? Would their faith be enough to meet the challenges emerging from this shift? A hush fell over the villagers as the dimming moon cast an unsettling pall upon the gathering. The air shifted, tension twisting like vines around their hearts. Sarah's spirit quaked as she felt the weight of the unknown bearing down on them. What could the shadow mean? She could still feel the buzz of divine energy from earlier, yet now it seemed a distant song, muffled by encroaching uncertainty. Pastor Mark stepped forward again, his face shadowed yet resolute. "Do not fear," he reassured them, his voice steady, strong. "In the moments of darkness, our faith shines brightest. Let us remain united in prayer, for the Lord is with us." His words fell like balm to a wound. Even so, questions lingered heavy in the cool night air. Sarah squeezed her rosary tighter, seeking comfort in its familiar presence against her palm. She whispered her own prayers, a quiet stream of hope washing over her doubts. But as she looked around, she saw not only solemn determination, but also flickers of fear mirrored in the eyes of her neighbors. They were all grappling with their own questions, a collective uncertainty lingering like a shadow. Then the wind shifted, swirling around them with unexpected ferocity. Items shifted, and a distant sound surged, a harmonious melody that seemed to rise from the depths of the earth itself. It hummed through their bones, urging them to listen closely. Some began to sway gently, caught in the rhythm of that heavenly music, Can you hear it? Oliver's father whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. The voice of hope. A chorus of murmurs swept through the crowd again, growing ever louder. Yes, we hear it, they affirmed, as if awakening from a deep sleep. As they stood cloaked in this extraordinary moment, the moon began to pulsate with renewed light, shimmering brighter than before. A cascade of silver sparkles rained down upon the villagers, and gasps of disbelief erupted from the throng. It felt like a divine embrace, an invitation to step closer, to dive deep into the unknown that loomed. Open your hearts, Sarah urged, her voice rising above the swell. This is our moment. Let us embrace whatever comes next. The villagers began to nod, their spirits rekindling with a flicker of unity, a shared understanding that wrapped around them like a comforting shawl. Yet her own heart wrestled with questions. What was this gathering truly about? Healing was a blessing, but what was still hidden in the depths of this night? Sarah sensed a divine urgency, as if higher forces were revealing the path ahead, a journey that required more than physical restoration. This was about the essence of faith itself, how they should love each other amid trials. And amid this spirit-spurred revelation, the ground began to tremble softly beneath their feet, a rumble that felt like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The villagers gasped collectively, a wave of apprehension flickering through them once again. Stand firm, Pastor Marr shouted, grounding his congregation in faith. But as they clung to that foundation, Sarah realized something monumental was on the horizon. Something both beautiful and terrifying awaited them. What if their rose-colored view of divine intervention was about to be challenged? With faith buoyed yet trembling, the question remained. Could they embrace not just the blessings, but the trials that lay ahead? As the echoes of the divine melody grew louder, Sarah felt a pull towards the unknown. Perhaps their true transformation was just beginning, just beyond the veil of this miracle. What awaited them next? What lessons shimmered in the darkness, waiting to be revealed? The villagers held their breath as the trembling beneath them intensified, a rhythmic pulsation that matched the melody soaring through the moonlit night. With each tremor, Sarah felt her heart quicken, sensing the call of the divine urging them to embrace the unfolding mystery. Look, shouted one of the elders, pointing skyward. They all turned their gazes towards the heavens, where clouds began to swirl, parting like curtains to reveal the moon in all its glory, brighter than ever before. It reflected a light so pure, so unyielding, that it seemed to illuminate the very soul of every watcher below. Tears of awe glistened in Sarah's eyes as she soaked in the sheer beauty of the moment. This is a sign, she whispered, her words nearly washed away by the rising wind. A promise from the heavens, the melody crescendoed, resonating through their collective hearts. It was as if the earth itself joined in song, lifting them with every note. Unable to contain herself, Sarah raised her arms, inviting the villagers to join her in praise. Let's rejoice in this moment. Let every fear dissipate as we lift our voices together. One by one, villagers joined her, their voices weaving a tapestry of hope and revelation. Some began to dance, the joy flooding their spirits, driving away the shadows. Laughter mingled with song, creating a chorus that danced along with the shimmering starlight. In this sacred atmosphere, old grievances melted away, replaced by a sense of unity and divine purpose. Yet amidst the joy, a small voice pierced through the rapture, a whisper that echoed in Sarah's mind. What must we do? It wasn't just a question for herself. It was a question for the entire gathering. Would they shy away from the trials ahead? Would they turn their backs on uncomfortable truths? Just as her thoughts deepened, a flash lit the ground near the altar where Pastor Mark stood, still watching over his people. Gather around, he called, his tone urgent though comforting. The villagers instinctively drew nearer, forming a wide circle, their hearts beating in tandem with the lingering echo of the melody. God has brought us here for a reason, he began, his voice steady. As the night reveals its wonders, see this as our shared calling. We are invited not merely to witness miracles, but to become part of them. Each of us plays a role in the coming days. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled once more violently, as the air crackled with energy. It felt as if the world were unearthing truths, relentless in its unveiling. The moon's brilliance bathed Pastor Mark in a glow that held an unmistakable urgency. We need to prepare ourselves, hearts and minds, for what lies ahead. Trials come to forge our faith. Are we ready? Ready. The villagers shouted in unison, conviction surging through them with force. But despite their brave words, Sarah felt a shadow of doubt flicker in her heart. What preparations could they muster? How could they fortify their faith when the path ahead remained uncertain? Maybe their challenges were linked to deeper revelations, ones that would shake their understanding of love, grace, and the very essence of God's plan for them. As the villagers cheered, the harmony of their voices mingled with the divine melody that still reverberated in the air. For a fleeting moment, it felt like a baptism of sorts, a sacred cleansing, preparing them for what was to come. Yet beneath the joyful surface lay the uncharted waters of divine challenge. The atmosphere grew thick with anticipation, as though the very air was charged with possibilities. As the moon shone brilliantly overhead, illuminating their resolve, the villagers were left standing on the precipice of faith and fear. What revelations would follow? What trials awaited them that would demand their unwavering hearts? They could feel the divine momentum gathering, but uncertainty loomed. What awaited them in the coming days? And would their unity hold firm in the face of the unknown? The questions hung heavy in the air, sparking curiosity and dread all at once. As the villagers stood united in the glow of the moonlight, a hush fell over the crowd. The melody that had surged moments before quieted to a soft hum, like a gentle breeze brushing through the trees. In this silence, Sarah felt the weight of anticipation pressing down, mingling with her doubts. Her spirit yearned for certainty, yet the uncharted path ahead loomed ominously. Pastor Mark stepped forward, his face illuminated by the moon's brilliance. As we prepare for the unknown, he said, his voice steady and warm, let us remember our faith. In each trial, there is a lesson. In every challenge, an opportunity for growth. His words reverberated in the stillness, yet uncertainty hung in the air as thick as the mist rising from the earth. One by one, the villagers exchanged anxious glances. Among them was Jacob, a farmer known for his steadfastness. He looked to Sarah and nodded, his eyes reflecting a sense of determination. We must believe, Sarah. God's Spirit is moving among us, he reminded her, as if reading her thoughts. His words ignited a flicker of hope, but questions still loomed. Do we have the strength? Sarah whispered back, feeling the tremor in her voice. What if we fail to rise to the occasion? Every moment can bring us closer to God, even the moments of doubt, Jacob replied, placing a firm hand on her shoulder. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about taking steps forward, even when we don't know where they may lead. As if responding to their exchange, the earth beneath them quaked again, thrumming with a newfound energy that coursed through every heart. Sarah felt a rush of warmth, as if divine hands were lifting her worries, replacing them with an inexplicable peace. Let us come together in prayer. Pastor Mark called, raising his hands high. The villagers, compelled by the pastor's outstretched arms, formed a tighter circle, joining hands as anticipation crackled in the air. Lord of hosts, Pastor Mark began, his voice rising above the night winds filled with stars. We ask for guidance, for strength, and for the courage to face what lies ahead. Let's not shy away from your calling. Let us embrace the trials that will lead us to transformation. With each spoken word, the villagers felt their communal spirit knit tighter. They were a tapestry of dedication and hope, their voices rising with each prayer. Then, a soft light began to dance along the edges of the circle. It flickered like candle flames in a breeze, mesmerizing in its beauty. The air thickened with a sacred presence, wrapping gently around each villager. "Look," gasped Sarah, her breath caught in her throat. The light grew brighter, revealing figures surrounding them, ethereal beings of light, luminous and warm. They seemed to be whispering blessings, their serene smiles radiating love that washed over the villagers like gentle rain. In that moment, understanding washed over Sarah. The trials wouldn't break them, but would bind them closer to each other and to God. The dance of the divine surrounded them, reminding them they were never alone in their faith journey. But just as quickly as the light appeared, it began to fade, leaving the villagers breathless and filled with questions. What does this mean? Sarah thought, her heart racing. The tension danced between expectancy and dread, forging a path filled with both challenges and blessings. The moon lingered overhead, its light a reminder of the divine promise. The villagers exchanged reflecting glances, hearts now beating together in a rhythm of hope. They were ready for whatever God had in store. Would they uncover the answers they sought in unity, or would the trials ahead pull them apart? The air was still charged with questions yet to be unveiled, leaving the villagers on the brink of revelation. The villagers remained hovering on the edge of uncertainty, their hearts fluttering between fear and hope. Pastor Mark closed his eyes, allowing the cool night air to fill his lungs. He sensed the sacredness of the moment, feeling every breath was an echo of devotion shared among the assembled. "We will not let fear guide us," he said gently, "but our faith will lead the way." As he spoke, a distant rumble echoed through the valley, like a deep groan of the earth itself. The villagers stirred, eyes wide with wonder, feeling the vibrations resonate through their bones as if the very ground were speaking to them. "This is a sign," Jacob murmured, his voice almost lost in the collective murmurs. "A message urging us to remain strong." Suddenly, Sarah felt an urge deep within her, a whisper that guided her to step forward. Without fully understanding why, she spoke, "What if our trials are not just challenges but sacred invitations to dig deeper into our faith?" Her words, sparked by an unseen force, clung to the air, surprising even herself. The villagers turned toward her, surprised yet intrigued. "Yes," Pastor Mark exclaimed, his voice lifting with enthusiasm. "Every experience, both joyous and painful, brings us closer to understanding His purpose. This is our chance to embrace that truth." A ripple of courage moved through the crowd, igniting a shared sense of responsibility. They were the stewards of their own faith journeys, and Sarah's revelation shone a light on the path ahead. As they stood intertwined, the glow around them flickered once more, casting a soft illumination on their faces. It felt as if angels were guiding them, urging them toward unity. "Together," Sarah said, raising her voice to match the growing fervor, "we can ponder God's message and seek His will. Let's lean on one another." One by one, the villagers began sharing their accounts of dreams and visions, revelations that had surprised them in their quiet moments. Each story added a layer to the community's faith fabric, weaving together threads of vulnerability and strength. They spoke of loved ones they had lost, trials they had overcome, and promises yet to be fulfilled. As Sarah listened, tears welled in her eyes. She realized how deeply their stories resonated with her soul. "These struggles, they're not tossed aside," she whispered, as if sharing a profound secret, "but are a part of our beautiful journey." The air thickened with an electric anticipation. Everyone could feel the presence of God working among them, weaving their stories into one grand narrative. The flickering light shimmered around them, a heavenly reminder of His promise. "Pastor Mark," Jacob called out suddenly, "what must we do now? How do we prepare ourselves for the trials ahead?" The pastor opened his eyes and smiled knowingly. "We must remember we are never alone. We cling to each other and to God. Together, we will rise up in love and faith. And during these next 3 days, let us focus on prayer and reflection. What has been revealed to us is only the beginning." With his words, the villagers felt a new resolve, 3 days of spiritual fervor to prepare for whatever was to come. They raised their hands into the air, feeling the weight of each other's trust interlinking them in a gentle embrace of hope. Fear began to shift into anticipation, and they stood together, determined to meet whatever challenges awaited them. As night deepened around them, shadows grew long and the stars brightened, sending pulses of encouragement. Questions still lingered, though now they felt welcomed rather than burdensome. They understood that revelations would continue to unfold, and in their hearts, a new belief took root that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. But as they began their prayers, a rustling from a nearby woods caught their attention. A figure emerged, cloaked in shadow, yet radiating an undeniable warmth. Who had come to join them, and what promise did they bring? The figure stepped closer, the moonlight washing away the shadows that clung around it. As the villagers squinted, they saw it was an elderly woman, her silver hair glistening like spun gold under the stars. Her presence felt strangely familiar, wrapping around them like a cherished memory. "Fear not," she said, her voice soft yet filled with authority. "I am Ilara, a messenger of light sent to guide you through these transformative days ahead." The crowd murmured among themselves, some exchanging glances, while others took a step back, uncertainty swirling like fog among them. Pastor Mark, however, took a step forward, curiosity sparkling in his eyes. "Ilara, what message do you bring us?" With a serene smile, she raised a hand, gesturing for silence. "In the next 3 days, you shall see the power of faith unveiled. Trials will come, yes, but so will revelations, deeper than you ever expected. Each moment will be a divine step towards your awakening." A stillness wrapped around them, as if the woods themselves were pausing to listen. The night air crackled with energy, urging them to lean in closer, listening to each word that flowed from her lips. "Your struggles," Ilara continued, her voice laced with warmth, "are like seeds buried in the earth, needing time, patience, and faith to break through. The trials you face are no mere obstacles, but vital paths leading to your spiritual flourishing." The villagers exchanged knowing looks, feeling the weight of her words. Their hearts began to beat in unison, an affirmation of trust in something far greater than their fears. As she spoke, Sarah felt a warmth spreading in her chest, resonating with the truth of Ilara's message. "What do we need to do?" she asked, her voice steady and filled with intent. "Embrace the unknown," Ilara replied, her eyes deep as if they held the sky as mysteries. "Come together in prayer. Share not just your burdens, but your gratitude. Allow your hearts to swell with joy, even amid uncertainty. Before dawn breaks on the 4th day, you will witness a divine unveiling." A ripple of excitement surged through the crowd. They were no longer just faces in fear, but a community poised for awakening, eager to embrace what was promised. "I felt it," Jacob said, stepping into the circle, "the tugging of my spirit toward deeper understanding. We know these trials are only preludes to something extraordinary." "Yes, yes," Pastor Mark added with fervor. "Let us prepare ourselves mentally and spiritually. Let us start tonight. Gather in groups, lift your voices in prayer, and let the Spirit move among us." With newfound energy, the villagers formed small circles, holding hands and bowing their heads. The air filled with the sound of whispered prayers, sacred utterances like incense rising toward the heavens. Meanwhile, Ilara moved among them, her smile offering reassurance. The warm light that enveloped her seemed to inspire each person she touched. Spiritual healing began to flow through the congregation, binding their individual struggles into one shared burden lifted toward the divine. Hours slipped by in prayerful communion beneath the vast expanse of stars, and as the moon climbed high into the sky, a tangible expectancy settled deep within each heart. Suddenly, the wind shifted, carrying with it a sweet fragrance of blooming jasmine. It was a sign. Sarah opened her eyes to the shimmering night, a sense of urgency pressing her forward. "Ilara," she called, "how will we know when we are ready?" What if before she could finish, a spark of light erupted in the sky, dazzling like a shooting star? The gathering paused, heads turning, breath caught in wonder. "Believe, dear children," Elara said softly, "for what is to come will change everything. The stars themselves are poised to align in your favor." As the last word hung in the air, an unspoken question lingered in the hearts of the villagers. What would happen when dawn broke, and the prophecies intertwined with their faith? With anticipation buzzing like electric currents, they prepared to face whatever came next, grounded in the certainty that their moment was at hand. The moon continued its arc across the sky, casting silver beams that danced through the trees, illuminating the faces of the gathered villagers. Hope shimmered in the air as the fragrance of jasmine faded, replaced by the sound of fervent prayers filling the night with purpose. Elara moved among them like a gentle breeze, her presence a comforting balm amidst the rising tides of expectation. "Gather your hearts, dear ones," she whispered, "for tonight is but a prelude of what lies ahead. You will each face your own trials, and in those trials, you will find the rivers of grace flowing within you." As the villagers held tightly to their hands, a palpable energy coursed through them. Memories of their struggles surfaced, uncertainty about tomorrow, fears for their loved ones, and doubts that clouded their strength. Yet, each person's burden lifted a little more with every whispered prayer, revealing a deeper connection among them. Sarah felt the need to express this burgeoning unity. "We are not alone in our struggles, Elara. We're stronger together. But how do we prepare our spirits for the unveiling?" Elara paused, and the moonlight seemed to brighten just for her. "You must first believe in the light that dwells within," she replied. "Every prayer spoken, every hand held is a step toward nurturing that light. Let forgiveness wash over you. Let love pervade your hearts." The villagers nodded in agreement, and one by one, they began to share their stories. A young man named Daniel spoke of his fear of losing his faith, while Miriam, a mother, expressed her worry over her child's health. "I've held on to my fear for too long," Daniel confessed, his voice trembling. "But I'm tired. I want to surrender it to something greater." Elara approached him, a warm light radiating from her. "You bear gifts unseen, Daniel. Let go of the fear, and embrace faith like a cloak that will keep you warm through the night. It is only when you release your grip on doubt that faith can grow." As she spoke, a soft glow enveloped Daniel, and tears spilled from his eyes. With each tear, he felt lighter, as though a heavy weight had begun to unfurl from his spirit. The villagers watched, breathless, as the warmth of compassion surged through them, igniting their own faith. Then Jacob stood, inspiration flowing from within him. "What if we all shared our burdens? Together, we can hold each other up." With the flicker of realization lighting their eyes, they created a larger circle. One by one, they voiced their worries, their fears dissipating in the shared space of love and understanding. Elara stayed in their center, guiding their connections, weaving their stories into a tapestry of hope. As dawn approached, a low glow began to spread across the horizon, hinting at the promise of a new day. The villagers concluded their prayers, a sweet harmony filling the air, mingling hope with the scent of blooming jasmine. Elara raised her arms, and the anticipation within the group intensified. "The time of revelations is near," she declared, her voice resonating with assurance. "Do not doubt the gifts that await you." Before she could elaborate, a powerful gust of wind whipped through the clearing, almost as if the very earth was applauding their resolve. Leaves rustled, creating a symphony of whispers that danced through the branches above. "Hold on to this moment," Elara instructed, "for just as the sun rises, so will your faith awaken. You will find strength in the unlikeliest of places, and every trial will lead you closer to your calling." As the last words faded into the breath of dawn, the villagers stood captivated, hearts pounding in a shared rhythm of anticipation. Each soul shimmered with the light of awakening, brimming with faith. But for Sarah, As the first rays of sunlight warmed her face, a question lingered deeper within her heart: what awaited them beyond that sphere of light? The sun began to rise, and with it, a stirring mystery awaited to reveal itself. As the sun lifted higher, casting golden rays over the gathering, the villagers felt a surge of warmth enveloping them. It was as if the divine light was washing over their hearts, igniting a passion they hadn't known they possessed. Sarah inhaled deeply, the scent of jasmine now mingling with the fresh aroma of morning dew. She could feel every heartbeat around her, like the rhythmic thumping of a unified drum, a sacred beat echoing through the forest. Alara lowered her arms, her eyes sparkling with fervor. "We stand on the threshold of something beautiful," she said, her voice steady and hopeful. "Today is the first day of your transformation. The trials you have faced bring you closer to your true essence, the light hidden in the depths of your spirit." Daniel, still feeling the warmth of release from his previous fears, spoke up again. "But how do we see that light in ourselves? How we know it's there?" "Ah," Alara replied with a knowing smile. "The presence of God has always been inside you, waiting to be embraced. Each story shared last night was a stepping stone, causing you to recognize the path laid before you. You must continue to seek that light through gratitude and compassion." As she spoke, Sarah looked around. In each face, she noticed the reflections of shared struggles, but also beginnings of hope. Jacob reached for Daniel's hand, and soon, everyone was holding tight, forming an unbreakable circle. It reminded her of the ancient stories sung by the elders, a circle of strength, woven with faith. Suddenly, a voice broke through the deeper silence. "What if we face our fears head-on?" Sarah asked, her heart racing with the weight of her own courage. "What if we take the first steps into the unknown together?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the villagers. Alara nodded, her expression illuminating with approval. "Brilliant, Sarah. When you confront your fears, you disarm them. Fear has thrived in shadows, but now, under the sunlight of togetherness, fear loses its power." The collective energy surged, hearts entwined with excitement. Each villager took turns voicing one fear they were ready to face. "I fear the darkness of loneliness," Miriam admitted, her voice steady now. "And I worry I cannot provide for those I love," Jacob added, his shoulders squared with newfound resolution. One by one, they named their fears, and, as they did, laughter and lightheartedness began to fill the air. "Just like the flowers open to the sun," Alara remarked, "so too must you open yourselves to vulnerability." As the sun climbed and the day progressed, they found courage blooming beautifully. They ventured deeper into the forest, singing praises, their voices harmonizing with the whispers of nature. But still, Sarah couldn't shake the questions brewing within her. What if the light they sought brought trials harder than they had known before? What awaited them at the roots of their fears? As they reached a clearing where the sun poured down like honey onto the ground, Alara paused, raising her hands to the heavens. "And now," she said, her voice resounding, "we are on the brink of understanding our true purpose. Let's offer up our hearts in surrender, ready to receive whatever flows forth." In that very moment, a luminous beam broke through the canopy above, illuminating the circle. A collective gasp escaped the villagers. The light danced around them, casting shadows that seemed alive, moving with an energy they had never felt before. The air thickened with anticipation. Excitement sparked in every heart as the realization dawned. The journey was just beginning. But even as joy surged within them, Sarah's heart whispered with uncertainty. Could they withstand what was yet to come? And as the light enveloped them, a tantalizing thought lingered. What was the purpose of this shining revelation? As the magical light enveloped the villagers in the clearing, a profound hush settled over them. It felt like a warm embrace from above, comforting yet challenging. The atmosphere was thick with expectation, the kind that makes your heart pound in rhythm with the divine. Alara stood tall, her presence mesmerizing, like a beacon guiding them through the unfolding mysteries. "Embrace it," she urged, her voice ringing clear, cutting through their shadows. "This is your moment of awakening. The trials you faced were stepping stones, preparing you for this divine illumination." The villagers exchanged knowing glances, moments of fear mingling with flickers of hope. A realization washed over Sarah. This was not merely about individual healing, but collective transformation, a call to rise together. As the radiant light flickered and swirled around them, Sarah felt her heart swell. Each villager was now illuminated, their stories entwined in this sacred dance of faith. "Together we are stronger," she exclaimed, voice unwavering. "Let us not just face our fears. Let's make a stand for our community. Let us reflect his light." They responded with fervor, hands gripped tighter, voices lifted higher. Encouraged, Sarah led the charge. "We claim our joy. We will lift each other through every valley of doubt." With each declaration, the light pulsed gently, responding to their faith. One by one, villagers stepped up, sharing their unearthed fears, openly new fears that had emerged during their journey, but voiced now without hesitation. "I fear I won't have the strength to support my family," cried Miriam passionately. "I fear losing my way," Daniel confessed, his spirit fueled by the moment. "Fear of rejection has clouded me." Another joined in, each submission releasing a weight, lightening their spirits and igniting sparks of bravery in the ensemble. As they spoke, Alara smiled, watching as the light brightened with their unity. "You are transforming your fears into powerful affirmations. Look around. The momentum is shifting. As you cast away these weights, the glory of God will shimmer brighter." With the day reaching its apex, Sarah felt a palpable energy coursing through them. It was as if their hearts were synchronized in a glorious symphony of faith. "Embrace your light," she yelled, emboldened. "Let us step into our purpose." They began to chant, voices melding, each note igniting a conviction that reverberated through the woods. It echoed against the trees, the sky, their spirits' closest thing to heaven they ever felt. "We are one. We are light. We will fear and no more." Suddenly, with a crack of bright energy, the glowing light burst forth into radiant beams, cascading rays of color across the landscape. It illuminated the clearing, revealing a pathway formed by shimmering stones, a path leading deeper into the realm of revelation. Every eye followed the glow, each heart racing as anticipation grew. Sarah took a bold step forward, heart racing at the sight. "This is our path," she declared, trust overwhelming her. "This is where we ascend." Alara nodded with approval. "Take this road, each of you carrying your unique light. Fear no darkness, for beyond awaits the manifestation of your fervent prayers." With unbroken resolve, the villagers stepped forward together, streams of luminous energy guiding their way. The surrounding woods, filled with life, complemented their journey. It was breathtaking, the radiant sun, the tender caress of the wind, the chorus of nature cheering them on. They followed the path to a clearing, more radiant than any had imagined. The air shimmered with clarity and drastic hope, each whispered prayer now visualized in a vibrant tapestry of colors. But as they entered further, the ground trembled again, a reminder of unseen trials. Sarah turned to her neighbors, pulse quickening. "What is next? What must we face?" As if timed with her words, shadows began to stretch out from the trees, encircling them. "Trials are the gateway," Alara revealed, her tone solemn yet gentle. "Through dark moments, light becomes your guide, illuminating the path to understanding." Around them swirled the energy of unexpressed fears, old and new alike. Yet together, with support woven tightly through prayer and love, the villagers began to face these shadows. They stood shoulder to shoulder, testament to what they had overcome. "This is the moment," Pastor Mark urged, rising with them. "This is where we embrace both light and dark. We stand together now, unshakable." As shadows danced, a surge of strength rippled through the crowd, love overcoming fear, determination lifting them higher. They confessed openly their struggles and encouraged one another in the face of uncertainty. Gradually, the ominous energy began to retreat. A sudden clarity illuminated their hearts. One by one, they realized fear could not hold dominion over them when faith was their foundation. "We are light," they chanted, voices swelling into a crescendo of unity. "We are strong. We are one." In that sacred moment, in the epicenter of their faith journey, the air thickened once more, wrapping them in warmth, embracing revelation yet again. They embodied the promise of God's unwavering love, fearless amidst trials and tribulation. As they pressed forward together, each step sealing their resolve, Sarah felt her spirit lift higher. The moon shone with renewed glory, and it was then she knew. Every trial faced would strengthen their belief that miracles were always within reach. They took their first steps into the radiant unknown, hands held tight, marching forward as one, leaving shadows behind together, emerging into a vibrant new reality where transformations were born and destinies fulfilled. This was only the beginning of their extraordinary journey, and each moment held the promise of divine awakening. They had conquered the fears that once held them captive, stepping boldly into the light, the manifestation of God's supernatural reality. And as they walked forth, a collective prayer unified their hearts. "Lord, let your light guide our way, and may we never forget that together we are a source of miracles." The luminous path ahead beckoned, shrouded in mystery and promise, yet grounded in faith, a faith that conquers all, and this journey would be a testament to the divine story unfolding in their lives. Now, my dear friends, our tale has reached its sanctified conclusion, but your part in this is just beginning. This is your moment to take action. You need to subscribe now to our channel for even more exclusive faith stories that could transform your life forever. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let others join in this movement of divine testimonies. Comment below with your reactions and share your own miraculous experiences. Your voice matters, and we want to hear from you. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of faith. Let's spread this light together. The power of faith is ours to claim and share.